For thousands of years, stories of the Anunnaki have captivated historians, archaeologists, and curious minds alike. These ancient beings, often described in Sumerian texts as gods descending from the heavens, have long been the subject of speculation and debate. But what if these beings were more than just mythological figures? What if the stories of the Anunnaki weren't simply symbolic tales of divine beings, but accounts of something much more extraordinary? Imagine instead of gods, the Anunnaki could have been visitors from the stars, advanced beings from another world who interacted with humanity in ways that defy our understanding of history. Could these ancient figures be linked to alien encounters? Could they have played a role in the origins of human civilization? This mystery has haunted scholars for generations, leaving us to wonder, were the Anunnaki truly gods? Or were they something far more extraordinary, alien visitors who changed the course of humanity forever? Let's dive into this enigma and see if the truth is even stranger than we imagine. The stakes of uncovering the truth behind the Anunnaki couldn't be higher. If these beings were indeed something more than myths, if they were extraterrestrial visitors who shared advanced knowledge with early human civilizations, it could completely rewrite the history of our species. Imagine the implications. What would it mean for our understanding of ancient technology, the origins of human development, and even our place in the universe? This isn't just another tale of gods and legends. This could be a missing chapter of human history that we've overlooked or misunderstood for millennia. But here's the catch: mainstream historians remain divided, and many still see the Anunnaki as mere folklore. So, is there hidden truth in these ancient myths, or are we simply chasing shadows? As we explore this mystery, we need your help to dig deeper. If you want to uncover the truth behind one of the oldest and most fascinating questions in human history, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Join us on this journey into the unknown, where the answers might just challenge everything we thought we knew about the past. The story of the Anunnaki cannot be understood without first delving into the origins of the civilization that gave birth to them, the ancient Sumerians. Around 4500 BC, in the heart of Mesopotamia, an area we now know as modern-day Iraq, the Sumerians forged what would become one of the world's first great civilizations. Mesopotamia, the land between the rivers, the Tigris and Euphrates, was an environment both harsh and unforgiving. Yet, within this arid and unforgiving terrain, the Sumerians laid the foundations for a society that would influence not only the ancient world, but also the trajectory of human civilization itself. Sumerians didn't merely survive, they thrived. In a land where water was scarce, they devised one of the most revolutionary agricultural systems ever created. They built intricate irrigation networks that drew water from the Tigris and Euphrates, transforming the barren land into a fertile paradise capable of sustaining large populations. This innovation in agriculture did not only enable the Sumerians to grow food, but also gave rise to the urban centers that would become the heart of Sumerian culture. Cities like Ur, Uruk, and Eridu became vibrant hubs of commerce, religion, and intellectual development. What makes Sumer unique in the annals of history is not only their survival in such a challenging environment, but also their astounding ability to innovate and create systems that would lay the groundwork for future civilizations. One of their most remarkable achievements was the invention of writing. Around 3200 BC, the Sumerians developed cuneiform, the first known system of writing, which was initially used to record trade transactions, inventories, and later, laws, religious texts, and astronomical observations. The significance of cuneiform cannot be overstated, as it allowed the Sumerians to document their history, their knowledge, and their myths, many of which are still being uncovered today. Cuneiform tablets have provided a window into the daily lives of the Sumerians, from the mundane activities of farmers and merchants to the grand stories of gods and kings. But the Sumerians were more than just record keepers. Their contributions to mathematics, astronomy, and law have also had an indelible impact on subsequent cultures. Their system of mathematics was based on the number 60, a sexagesimal system that we still use today in measuring time, 60 minutes. In an hour, 360 degrees in a circle. This numerical framework was essential for the precise calculations needed in astronomy, and it laid the foundation for a culture of intellectual rigor and inquiry. The Sumerians were also adept astronomers. Using nothing but their eyes and primitive tools, they meticulously observed the movements of the stars, the planets, and the moon, developing a calendar based on lunar cycles. They tracked the movements of celestial bodies with such precision that they could predict astronomical events like eclipses without the aid of telescopes or modern technology. This deep understanding of the heavens raised a critical question. How did the Sumerians acquire such profound knowledge of the cosmos? Was it simply the result of careful observation over generations? Or could there have been other, more extraordinary influences at play? Beyond their intellectual achievements, the Sumerians also constructed some of the most impressive architectural structures in the ancient world. The ziggurat, a massive stepped pyramid, became the iconic symbol of Sumerian architecture. These towering structures were dedicated to the gods, and their construction required sophisticated engineering and immense labor forces. The ziggurats were not just religious monuments. They were also symbols of the Sumerians' mastery over their environment and their ability to shape the landscape to suit their needs. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of Sumerian civilization lies in their belief system, which was deeply intertwined with their daily lives and their understanding of the cosmos. The Sumerians were polytheistic, worshipping a pantheon of gods and goddesses who controlled every aspect of life, from fertility and agriculture to war and the afterlife. At the center of their religious beliefs were the Anunnaki, a group of powerful deities who, according to Sumerian texts, descended from the heavens and played a direct role in shaping humanity's destiny. The Anunnaki were more than just gods to the Sumerians. They were seen as intermediaries between humanity and the divine. They were credited with imparting knowledge and wisdom to mankind, guiding the Sumerians in everything from agriculture to governance. The Anunnaki were believed to have taught the Sumerians how to cultivate crops, build cities, and organize their societies. In fact, many of the advancements attributed to the Sumerians, such as their sophisticated irrigation systems, legal codes, and astronomical observations, were thought to be gifts from these heavenly beings. The Sumerians didn't view the Anunnaki as distant, abstract gods. Rather, they saw them as real, tangible entities who interacted with humans on a daily basis. The Anunnaki were depicted as powerful figures who could shape the world around them, and their influence was felt in every facet of Sumerian life. In many Sumerian myths, the Anunnaki were said to have descended from the heavens, bringing with them knowledge that allowed the Sumerians to build an advanced civilization in the midst of a harsh and unforgiving environment. These stories of the Anunnaki are woven into the very fabric of Sumerian culture. They are recorded in thousands of clay tablets, many of which have been translated and studied by modern historians. While some scholars interpret these tales as allegories or religious mythology, others believe that they may contain remnants of a more complex truth. Could the Anunnaki be more than just divine figures? Could they have been actual visitors from another world who brought advanced knowledge and technology to an ancient human civilization? This question lies at the heart of the mystery surrounding the Anunnaki, and it's one that continues to spark debate among historians, archaeologists, and even those with a more speculative bent. The context behind the Anunnaki stories is as important as the stories themselves. The Sumerians didn't just invent myths to explain the world around them. They created a belief system that reflected their deep understanding of the forces that shaped their lives. The Anunnaki were not only gods of the sky and earth, but also symbols of the immense power and knowledge that the Sumerians believed they had received from beyond. Whether they were divine figures or something more, the Anunnaki played a central role in shaping the Sumerian worldview, and their influence can still be felt in the modern world. In many ways, the Sumerians were thousands of years ahead of their time. Their advanced knowledge of astronomy, mathematics, and engineering laid the groundwork for future civilizations, including the Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans. Yet, despite their incredible achievements, the true origins of their knowledge remain shrouded in mystery. How did the Sumerians come to possess such profound understanding of the natural world? Was it through generations of observation and experimentation, or did they have help from something or someone outside of their own civilization? As we explore the origins of Sumer, we must ask ourselves, were the Sumerians truly ahead of their time, or were they simply the beneficiaries of knowledge passed down by other beings like the Anunnaki, who came down from the heavens to guide humanity's progress? This question lies at the heart of the mystery that surrounds the Anunnaki, and it's a question that will continue to captivate historians and enthusiasts alike for generations to come. The central enigma surrounding the Anunnaki is their true nature. Were they gods, as described in the ancient Sumerian texts, or could they have been something altogether more extraordinary? The Sumerians left behind thousands of clay tablets documenting their gods and heroes, and the Anunnaki were among the most prominent figures in their mythology. Described as powerful beings who descended from the heavens, their story has intrigued scholars, historians, and even those with a more speculative interest in ancient mysteries. But what exactly were the Anunnaki? Were they divine figures imbued with godlike powers? Or could they have been extraterrestrial visitors who brought knowledge and technology to early humanity? In the Sumerian texts, the Anunnaki are often depicted as a pantheon of gods who had a direct hand in shaping humanity's destiny. The term Anunnaki itself is believed to translate to those who came down from the heavens, a phrase that, when taken literally, suggests that these beings were not simply divine entities residing in the heavens, but rather visitors from the sky beings who descended to earth and interacted with humanity. These descriptions are not isolated, but appear repeatedly across a wide array of Sumerian mythological texts, where the Anunnaki play a pivotal role in the development of civilization, often credited with imparting knowledge in fields ranging from agriculture and law to astronomy and mathematics. The Sumerians described the Anunnaki as beings with immense power, capable of shaping the course of human events. They are often associated with creation myths, with stories of their direct involvement in the shaping of humanity. In one version of the myth, the Anunnaki are said to have been responsible for creating the first human beings, fashioned from clay and imbued with the knowledge and skills necessary for the development of civilization. These gods were believed to have a profound understanding of the natural world, and their teachings, whether in the form of agricultural practices, the creation of cities, or the development of written language, were said to have revolutionized the way humans lived. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Anunnaki's role in Sumerian mythology is their association with divine intervention in human affairs. These gods were not distant, unapproachable deities. They were actively involved in the lives of humans, guiding them, testing them, and even punishing them when they strayed from the path. The Anunnaki were said to have played a direct role in significant events, such as the Great Flood that wiped out humanity, a story that closely resembles the biblical tale of Noah's Ark. In this version of the myth, Enlil, the god of air and storms, is said to have grown frustrated with humanity's disobedience and decided to flood the earth. However, Enki, another Anunnaki god, defied Enlil's wrath and saved humanity by warning a select few, thus ensuring the survival of the human race. These stories raise a fundamental question. Were the Anunnaki truly gods, or were they something else entirely? Mainstream historians and scholars generally interpret these stories as symbolic myths that were used to explain natural phenomena and human existence. From this perspective, the Anunnaki represent forces of nature or divine figures embodying aspects of the world, such as water, air, and fertility. They are seen as powerful and supernatural beings, but still part of the human imagination, a way for the Sumerians to explain the mysteries of the world around them. Yet, this conventional interpretation has been challenged, especially by those who believe that the Anunnaki were not simply mythical gods but visitors from another world, alien beings who arrived on Earth long before the Sumerians began to write their myths. This theory is often attributed to the work of Zecharia Sitchin, a controversial figure who argued that the Anunnaki were extraterrestrial visitors from a planet called Nibiru. According to Sitchin's interpretation, the Anunnaki traveled from Nibiru, a hypothetical planet located beyond Pluto, and came to Earth thousands of years ago to mine gold and other precious resources. In return for their assistance, they supposedly taught humanity advanced knowledge, including writing, astronomy, and agriculture. Sitchin's theory proposes that the Sumerians, in their awe of these advanced visitors, began to see them as gods and recorded their interactions in the form of mythological stories. According to this view, the Anunnaki were not gods in the traditional sense, but highly advanced extraterrestrials who used their superior technology to manipulate and guide humanity's development. This interpretation opens up fascinating possibilities. What if the stories of gods descending from the heavens were not symbolic, but literal accounts of extraterrestrial encounters with ancient human cultures? What if the Anunnaki were actually visitors from another world, offering guidance and wisdom that propelled humanity to new heights of civilization? While Sitchin's ideas have been met with skepticism by most mainstream scholars, there are aspects of Sumerian mythology and archaeology that continue to fuel this speculative theory. For example, the Sumerians' incredible understanding of astronomy and mathematics, as well as their advanced knowledge of the cosmos, seems to defy the expectations of a civilization living thousands of years ago without telescopes or modern instruments. The Sumerians accurately mapped the positions of planets, tracked lunar cycles, and predicted eclipses with remarkable precision, all achievements that seem almost impossible for a society without the aid of advanced technology. Could this knowledge have been handed down by the Anunnaki, extraterrestrial beings who had the tools and technology to see the universe in a way that was beyond the grasp of the Sumerians? Moreover, the Anunnaki's supposed interventions in human history teaching agriculture, mathematics, and architecture are strikingly similar to accounts of other ancient cultures that attribute their advanced knowledge to divine or supernatural beings. The ancient Egyptians, for instance, also credited their gods with teaching them the secrets of building the pyramids, and the ancient Mayans spoke of beings who descended from the stars and imparted knowledge of the stars and timekeeping. These recurring motifs in different cultures raise intriguing questions. Could the Anunnaki, or beings like them, have appeared in various ancient civilizations, sharing knowledge and influencing the course of human history? Or are these stories simply echoes of the same symbolic myths that exist in every culture, created to explain the mysteries of existence? To further complicate the question, archaeological discoveries have revealed artifacts and structures that suggest a level of sophistication beyond what would have been expected of the Sumerians. The construction of massive ziggurats, the precision of their astronomical observations, and the complexity of their mathematical systems all point to a civilization that was far ahead of its time. Some researchers suggest that the Sumerians might have had contact with other older civilizations' cultures lost to history that shared advanced knowledge with them. This idea of cultural diffusion is another possible explanation for the Sumerians' rapid advancement. But could it be that this knowledge didn't come from other human cultures, but from extraterrestrial sources? Ultimately, the question of whether the Anunnaki were gods or aliens remains unresolved. The traditional view of the Anunnaki as divine beings offers a compelling narrative that ties into the broader Sumerian worldview. However, the theory of the Anunnaki as extraterrestrial visitors challenges the very foundations of our understanding of ancient history. What is clear, though, is that the Anunnaki played a pivotal role in the Sumerian story, shaping the civilization in profound ways. Whether gods, aliens, or something in between, the mystery of the Anunnaki continues to spark intrigue and debate, leading us to ponder, were these beings truly gods from the heavens, or were they something far more extraordinary? The answer, it seems, may be a blend of myth, history, and possibility that continues to captivate the imagination of those who seek the truth behind the ancient stories. One of the most compelling aspects of the Sumerian civilization is the astonishing advancements they made in fields such as science, mathematics, and architecture. These achievements continue to awe historians and archaeologists alike, raising a critical question. Were these breakthroughs the product of human ingenuity alone, or was the guiding hand of the Anunnaki involved? The Sumerians themselves believed that the Anunnaki were instrumental in helping them reach such advanced levels of knowledge. According to their myths, the gods descended from the heavens to teach humanity the secrets of agriculture, astronomy, writing, and even complex engineering. This belief paints a fascinating picture of a society shaped not solely by human effort, but also by divine intervention, or perhaps, as some theories suggest, by extraterrestrial influence. The Sumerian creation of the cuneiform writing system is one of the earliest and most profound milestones in human history. Around 3200 BC, the Sumerians developed this system to record transactions, laws, and stories. Cuneiform, created by pressing wedge-shaped marks into clay tablets, was initially a tool for keeping track of trade and the distribution of goods. However, over time, it expanded to encompass literature, legal codes, and astronomical records. The fact that such a sophisticated writing system emerged so early in human history raises important questions. How did a people living in what was essentially a relatively young civilization develop such an advanced form of communication? The Sumerians themselves attributed this incredible breakthrough to the guidance of the Anunnaki. According to Sumerian myth, it was the Anunnaki who taught humanity how to write. The gods, possessing far superior knowledge, helped establish the foundation for a written language that would go on to shape human communication for millennia. Could it be that the Sumerians' leap in literacy wasn't just the result of cultural evolution, but was inspired or even directly instructed by a higher intelligence, such as the Anunnaki? It is worth considering that their ability to develop a writing system so early could be tied to a more advanced source of knowledge, one that went beyond the natural progression of early human societies. Alongside their advances in writing, the Sumerians also made groundbreaking strides in mathematics and astronomy, two fields that seemed to be far beyond the scope of their time. The Sumerians used a sexagesimal system based on the number 60, which we still use today to measure time, and angles. They could calculate complex fractions and perform astronomical observations with astonishing precision. These innovations were crucial in the development of their calendar, which tracked lunar and solar cycles and helped organize agricultural activities and religious festivals. The ability to predict celestial events, such as eclipses and the movement of planets, was remarkable, especially considering that the Sumerians had no telescopes or advanced instruments. In fact, the Sumerians were so precise in their astronomical calculations that they accurately recorded the movements of planets like Venus and Jupiter, which were often referenced in their myths. The Venus tablet of Amisaduqa, dating back to around 1600 BC, shows an intricate understanding of the planet's cycles knowledge that modern scientists find difficult to replicate. But where did this extraordinary knowledge come from? Could it be the result of careful observation over generations? Or is it possible that the Sumerians were instructed by the Anunnaki, who had a far more advanced understanding of the cosmos? Many researchers have speculated that the Anunnaki could have provided this astronomical knowledge, as their involvement in guiding humanity's development was so frequently emphasized in Sumerian myth. One of the most striking aspects of Sumerian society was their architectural achievements, particularly the construction of the ziggurats. These massive stepped pyramids were religious structures dedicated to the gods and represented some of the most sophisticated engineering feats of the ancient world. Built with millions of mud bricks, ziggurats were designed to stand for thousands of years. The scale and complexity of these structures suggest a highly organized and advanced society, capable of mobilizing vast resources and labor forces. The construction of the ziggurats also demonstrates a deep understanding of geometry, engineering, and structural integrity, which some argue could not have been achieved without external guidance. The Sumerians themselves believed that the ziggurats were not simply architectural marvels, but also symbolic representations of the connection between earth and the heavens. These towering structures were seen as a means to reach the gods, and the Anunnaki were often associated with the construction of these monumental temples. In this context, the Anunnaki could have played a direct role in shaping the architectural practices of the Sumerians, either by inspiring their designs or by providing the knowledge necessary to construct such awe-inspiring structures. Could these gods have imparted advanced building techniques that allowed the Sumerians to create the ziggurats? Or were these achievements the result of a natural progression of architectural development, enhanced by the intellectual contributions of a people eager to honor their gods? Beyond the tangible evidence of the Anunnaki's influence on writing, mathematics, astronomy, and architecture, there is also the possibility that the Anunnaki's impact was more subtle, shaping the cultural and societal structures of Sumerian civilization. The Sumerians developed some of the first known legal codes, including the famous Code of Ur-Nammu, which predates the more well-known Code of Hammurabi by centuries. These laws governed everything from property rights to marriage, and their sophistication reflected the organizational prowess of Sumerian society. The establishment of such legal systems could very well have been inspired or guided by the Anunnaki, who were depicted as wise and just beings overseeing human affairs. In this light, the Anunnaki were not just gods of the sky, but also powerful figures who shaped the very structure of Sumerian society, ensuring that it functioned smoothly and with order. The notion that the Anunnaki played a role in these advancements challenges the conventional view that the Sumerians developed their civilization independently. While many historians argue that the Sumerians' innovations were the result of cultural evolution, the sheer scale of their achievements and the specificity of the knowledge they possessed leads some to wonder whether their advancements were guided by more advanced beings. Could the Anunnaki, with their superior wisdom, have played a hand in pushing humanity forward, providing the necessary knowledge and tools to make such strides possible? Or were these advancements simply a natural progression of human civilization, shaped by generations of observation, experimentation, and trial and error? As we consider the impact of the Anunnaki on Sumerian society, it's important to recognize the possibility that these divine beings were not mere gods, but were instead guiding forces, whether extraterrestrial or human-like, who imparted knowledge that accelerated the development of Sumerian civilization. The precise nature of this influence remains a subject of debate, but the evidence suggests that the Anunnaki were more than just mythological figures. They were central to the advancement of science, mathematics, architecture, and law in Sumer, and their legacy continues to shape the way we understand the origins of human civilization. In conclusion, the Anunnaki's influence on Sumerian society cannot be dismissed as mere myth. The extraordinary achievements of the Sumerians in science, mathematics, and architecture raise questions that go beyond the conventional narrative of cultural evolution. Could the Anunnaki have been responsible for guiding humanity's progress in these fields, providing the knowledge and wisdom needed to lay the foundation for the great civilizations that followed? While we may never know the full extent of their role, the Sumerians' remarkable accomplishments suggest that the Anunnaki were indeed a key force in shaping the course of human history. Whether gods, extraterrestrials, or something in between, their influence remains a defining element of one of the world's first great civilizations. The mystery of the Anunnaki is not just about the stories told in ancient texts, but also about how those stories have been interpreted and translated. The Sumerian civilization, with its remarkable advancements in writing, left behind thousands of clay tablets that have been studied and translated by scholars over the centuries. Yet the translation of Sumerian texts remains one of the most challenging tasks in the field of ancient history. This complexity is particularly evident when it comes to the Anunnaki, whose description in the Sumerian myths has sparked heated debates about their true nature. Were the Anunnaki gods, as traditionally understood, or could they have been something else, alien visitors, or perhaps beings from a far-off ancient human civilization? The interpretation of key Sumerian words and phrases plays a crucial role in answering this question, and these translations have led to conflicting views that continue to shape the discourse around the Anunnaki. One of the most significant challenges in translating Sumerian texts is the language itself. Sumerian is a language isolate, meaning it has no known relation to any other language, and its complexities make it difficult to translate with full accuracy. Even when scholars can identify the meaning of individual words, interpreting the broader context and nuances of those words can prove to be elusive. The Sumerian language was also rich in metaphor and symbolic imagery, which further complicates the task of understanding the true intent behind the texts. The very nature of these texts, written in cuneiform on clay tablets, often means that small variations in wording or phrasing can change the meaning of a passage entirely. As a result, different scholars may interpret the same texts in divergent ways, leading to a variety of conclusions about the identity and role of the Anunnaki. However, alternative interpretations have emerged that challenge this traditional view. In particular, the work of Zecharia Sitchin, a controversial theorist, has brought attention to a different reading of this phrase. Sitchin's theories suggest that the heavens described in the Sumerian texts might not refer to a divine realm, but rather to space or the sky in a literal sense. According to Sitchin, the Anunnaki were not gods, but extraterrestrial beings from a distant planet, specifically a planet called Nibiru, which he proposed orbits our solar system in a long elliptical orbit. Sitchin argued that the Anunnaki came to Earth from Nibiru to mine for gold and other resources, and in return, they shared advanced knowledge with humanity, guiding their development in areas like agriculture, astronomy, and writing. Sitchin's interpretation of those who came down from the heavens suggests that these beings were not divine, but rather visitors from another world, and their descent was a literal event rather than a metaphorical one. Sitchin's theories have been met with considerable skepticism from mainstream scholars. Many linguists and historians argue that Sitchin misinterpreted or mistranslated key terms in the Sumerian texts. For instance, Sitchin's reading of the word heavens as referring to outer space is controversial, as traditional translations of Sumerian cosmology do not support the idea of a physical extraterrestrial origin. Furthermore, Sitchin's interpretation of the Anunnaki's role in Sumerian society as extraterrestrial miners seems at odds with the more spiritual and mythological context found in the Sumerian records. Critics argue that Sitchin's theories are based on selective readings of the texts, and that the Anunnaki's teachings, while extraordinary, should be understood as the guidance of gods, not aliens. Despite the pushback, Sitchin's ideas have captured the imaginations of many who are intrigued by the possibility of extraterrestrial influence in ancient human history. His work has sparked widespread interest in the idea that ancient civilizations were not as isolated and self-contained as traditionally thought, but instead were the recipients of knowledge from advanced, non-human sources. This idea has resonated with a segment of the public, fueling theories of ancient astronauts and challenging conventional understandings of human origins. For these theorists, the notion that the Anunnaki, or gods, is less convincing than the possibility that they were alien visitors, and they argue that the translations of Sumerian texts should be re-examined through the lens of modern knowledge, including astronomy and space exploration. In addition to Sitchin's work, other scholars have attempted to reinterpret the Sumerian texts in ways that suggest the Anunnaki may have been something beyond traditional gods. Some propose that the Anunnaki were human or humanoid beings who possessed advanced technology and knowledge, making them appear godlike to the Sumerians. These theories suggest that the Anunnaki were not extraterrestrials, but rather members of an ancient civilization that existed long before the Sumerians and had a profound impact on their culture. This interpretation, which ties the Anunnaki to the concept of lost civilizations, proposes that the Sumerians may have inherited knowledge from a culture that was far more advanced than their own, and that these beings were revered as gods because of their superior abilities. The controversy surrounding the interpretation of Sumerian texts is not limited to the Anunnaki. Many aspects of Sumerian mythology, cosmology, and religion remain open to debate. For example, the Sumerians believed in a pantheon of gods who governed various aspects of life and nature, and these gods were often depicted in ways that resemble the descriptions of extraterrestrial beings in modern ufology. The question of whether the Sumerian gods were truly divine beings or whether they were advanced extraterrestrial visitors is a debate that continues to divide scholars and enthusiasts alike. As new discoveries are made and more texts are translated, the possibility of unraveling the true nature of the Anunnaki and other Sumerian gods remains an ongoing challenge. In conclusion, the debate over the translation and interpretation of Sumerian texts is central to understanding the mystery of the Anunnaki, whether they are seen as gods, aliens, or something else entirely. The Anunnaki continue to captivate our imagination and challenge our assumptions about ancient history. The differences in interpretation stem from the complexities of the Sumerian language, the symbolic nature of their texts, and the modern lens through which we view their mythology. Theories like those of Zecharia Sitchin have added new dimensions to the debate, but they also remind us of the difficulty of translating ancient knowledge into modern concepts. As scholars continue to study and debate the true meaning of the Sumerian texts, the mystery of the Anunnaki is likely to persist, leaving us with more questions than answers about the true nature of these enigmatic beings. One of the most striking aspects of the Sumerian civilization is their remarkable knowledge of astronomy and mathematics, fields in which they made astonishing advancements thousands of years ago, long before the advent of modern technology. The Sumerians' ability to track the movements of planets and stars with such precision remains a source of wonder and intrigue. What is particularly puzzling is that they achieved these feats with nothing more than the naked eye, basic tools, and keen observational skills. They had no telescopes or advanced instruments, and yet their records of astronomical events are astoundingly accurate, sometimes even aligning with modern scientific discoveries. This raises the critical question: where did the Sumerians acquire such advanced knowledge? Was it the result of centuries of careful observation and trial and error, Or could there have been an external influence, perhaps the Anunnaki, whose supposed guidance is woven throughout Sumerian mythology? The Sumerians are credited with developing one of the earliest known calendars, based on lunar cycles and planetary movements. They created a sophisticated system to track time and celestial events, which allowed them to predict phenomena like lunar eclipses, the appearance of planets, and other astronomical occurrences. One of the most famous examples of their astronomical prowess is the Venus tablet of Ammisaduqa, which dates back to around 1600 BC. This tablet contains detailed records of the movements of Venus, tracking the planet's position over a period of several years with remarkable accuracy. Modern astronomers, equipped with telescopes and advanced technology, have been amazed by how closely the Sumerian calculations align with contemporary observations of Venus's cycles. It is as if they were aware of a level of astronomical detail that should have been beyond their capacity, raising the question of how they managed to achieve such precision. The Sumerians' understanding of the cosmos wasn't limited to Venus alone. They tracked the movements of multiple planets, including Jupiter, Mars, and Mercury, and even cataloged star constellations with exceptional accuracy. The Sumerians did not merely observe these celestial bodies. They understood the mechanics behind their movement. For instance, they recognized that planets, unlike stars, moved in distinct and predictable patterns. This knowledge was crucial for their agriculture, religious practices, and societal organization, as many Sumerian activities, such as planting crops or timing festivals, were aligned with celestial events. Given the scale and precision of these astronomical achievements, it is difficult to ignore the possibility that the Sumerians may have received some form of guidance from a more advanced source. The Anunnaki, as described in Sumerian mythology, were beings who descended from the heavens and were believed to possess extraordinary knowledge of the natural world. According to the myths, these beings directly interacted with humanity, imparting wisdom in fields like agriculture, law, and crucially astronomy. Could it be that the Anunnaki played a role in the development of Sumerian astronomical knowledge? The Sumerians themselves believed that the gods gave them this knowledge, and the precise alignment between their records and modern astronomical data has led some to speculate that the Anunnaki might have shared their advanced understanding of the cosmos with the early humans they encountered. This theory suggests that the Anunnaki, who were seen as divine figures by the Sumerians, might have been more than just gods in the traditional sense. They could have been extraterrestrial beings or advanced human cultures who had access to knowledge far beyond what the Sumerians could have discovered on their own. The Anunnaki's teachings could have provided the foundation for the Sumerians' astronomical and mathematical achievements, accelerating their development in ways that would have taken humans far longer to achieve on their own. If the Anunnaki were indeed the source of this knowledge, then their role in shaping the Sumerian civilization would be far more significant than traditional interpretations of them as mere gods or mythological figures. However, this theory is not universally accepted. Mainstream historians and archaeologists generally argue that the Sumerians' astronomical knowledge was the result of their own observations over many generations. They contend that the Sumerians, through careful and methodical study of the night sky, developed a deep understanding of the heavens based on the patterns they observed. This knowledge, passed down through scribes and priests, became increasingly refined over time, culminating in the sophisticated astronomical system we see in their records. From this perspective, the Sumerians' ability to track the movements of planets and stars was the product of centuries of observation, trial, and error, not the gift of advanced beings. Yet, even proponents of this more traditional view acknowledge the remarkable nature of the Sumerians' achievements. The precision with which they tracked planetary movements, particularly without the aid of telescopes or other modern tools, is astonishing. The Sumerians' ability to observe and predict The movements of Venus, in particular, is one of the most impressive feats in the history of ancient astronomy. The fact that their records so closely align with modern scientific calculations makes it difficult to dismiss the possibility that the Sumerians possessed an exceptional understanding of the cosmos, one that surpasses what we might expect from a civilization with such limited technological resources. Moreover, the Sumerians' mathematical system, based on the number 60, also played a crucial role in their astronomical work. This sexagesimal system, which we still use today to measure time and angles, allowed the Sumerians to make precise calculations and record astronomical data with remarkable accuracy. Their knowledge of geometry and numbers enabled them to build the massive ziggurats and other architectural wonders that are still admired today. It is possible that the advanced knowledge required to create such a sophisticated system of mathematics was shared with them by an external source, the Anunnaki, or another advanced civilization. The influence of Sumerian astronomical and mathematical knowledge extended far beyond Mesopotamia. Many of their discoveries were adopted and further refined by later civilizations, such as the Babylonians and the Egyptians, who continued the work of the Sumerians and built upon their foundations. The Babylonians, for example, adopted the Sumerian system of dividing time into hours, minutes, and seconds, and their own astronomers would go on to make groundbreaking discoveries based on the Sumerian model. The Egyptian pyramids, with their astronomical alignments, also show the influence of Sumerian knowledge, as the Egyptians were known to have studied the stars and celestial movements, just as the Sumerians had. In conclusion, the evidence of advanced knowledge in astronomy and mathematics presented by the Sumerians is undeniable. Their ability to track the movements of planets, map constellations, and predict celestial events with such precision is a testament to their intellectual prowess. The question, however, remains: how did they acquire this knowledge? Was it the result of their own careful observations over many generations, or did the Anunnaki or some other advanced source play a role in guiding their understanding of the cosmos? While mainstream scholars may lean toward the former explanation, the alignment of Sumerian astronomical records with modern science and the myths surrounding the Anunnaki suggest that the truth may lie somewhere in between, in a fascinating blend of human achievement and external influence. The Sumerians' legacy in these fields continues to resonate, influencing subsequent civilizations and leaving a profound impact on the development of human knowledge. The origins of the Anunnaki are shrouded in mystery, and the question of where they came from has been a subject of intense debate for centuries. While mainstream historians often interpret the Anunnaki as gods of the Sumerian pantheon, other more radical theories have emerged over time, suggesting that the Anunnaki may have been something far more extraordinary, extraterrestrial beings from another world. The nature of the Anunnaki and their supposed descent from the heavens has led to a range of interpretations, each offering a different perspective on their origins and the role they played in shaping human history. Some see them as divine figures who are worshipped as gods. Others argue that they were extraterrestrial visitors who brought advanced knowledge to Earth. Still, others propose that the Anunnaki may have been human or humanoid beings from an advanced civilization whose technology and wisdom were mistaken for divine powers by the ancient Sumerians. Each of these theories offers its own compelling explanations, but none have been universally accepted, leaving the true nature of the Anunnaki open to speculation. The most widely accepted interpretation of the Anunnaki is that they were gods divine, beings who inhabited the heavens and influenced the fate of humanity. In Sumerian mythology, the Anunnaki are often depicted as powerful deities who governed various aspects of the natural world and human affairs. They were considered to be part of a broader pantheon, with each god overseeing specific domains such as agriculture, the sky, water, and storms. These gods were believed to have descended from the heavens to guide humanity teaching early humans the arts of farming, writing, and governance. The Sumerians believed that the Anunnaki played a direct role in the creation of the first humans, and that their interactions with humanity were essential for the development of civilization. In this traditional view, the Anunnaki were not extraterrestrials or advanced beings from another world, but rather divine figures who embodied the forces of nature in the celestial realm. Their descent from the heavens is interpreted metaphorically, representing their divine nature and their connection to the cosmos. The Sumerians saw the heavens as the realm of the gods, and their arrival from this realm signified their status as divine beings with extraordinary power and wisdom. From this perspective, the Anunnaki's teachings were not alien interventions, but sacred wisdom passed down by the gods to guide humanity on its journey toward civilization. One of the most intriguing and controversial theories surrounding Niki Anunnaki's origins is that they were extraterrestrial beings who came to Earth from another planet, specifically a planet known as Nibiru. This idea gained popularity in the 20th century through the work of Zecharia Sitchin, a scholar who proposed that the Anunnaki were not gods in the traditional sense, but rather advanced extraterrestrials who visited Earth thousands of years ago. According to Sitchin's interpretation, the Anunnaki hailed from Nibiru, a hypothetical planet located in our solar system, which Sitchin claimed has an elongated orbit that brings it close to Earth once every 3,600 years. Sitchin's theory is based on his controversial readings of ancient Sumerian texts, which he believed described the Anunnaki as beings from Nibiru. In Sitchin's view, the Anunnaki were not divine beings, but were instead advanced visitors who arrived on Earth to mine gold and other precious resources. In exchange for their help, Sitchin argued, the Anunnaki shared their advanced knowledge with the Sumerians, teaching them everything from agriculture to architecture and even writing. This exchange of knowledge, according to Sitchin, was pivotal in the rapid development of Sumerian civilization, which seemed to emerge almost suddenly, with advancements that were far beyond what would have been expected for the time. While Sitchin's theories have been widely criticized by mainstream scholars, particularly his interpretation of Sumerian texts and his hypothesis about Nibiru, the idea of extraterrestrial involvement in ancient human history continues to intrigue many. The suggestion that the Anunnaki were alien visitors who shared their knowledge with early humans offers an alternative explanation for the rapid and sudden rise of Sumerian civilization, which remains a puzzle for historians. Could it be that the Sumerians were not the originators of their advanced knowledge, but instead the recipients of wisdom from a distant and highly advanced civilization? The extraterrestrial hypothesis remains one of the most compelling, albeit controversial, interpretations of the Anunnaki's origins. Another theory that has emerged in recent years is the cultural diffusion hypothesis, which suggests that the Sumerians did not develop their advanced knowledge in isolation, but rather inherited it from older, lost civilizations. According to this view, the Sumerians were part of a long continuum of human cultural development, and their remarkable achievements in science, mathematics, and architecture were the result of knowledge passed down from earlier civilizations that had reached similar levels of sophistication. The idea of cultural diffusion posits that ancient societies were not isolated from each other, but were connected through trade, migration, and intellectual exchange. These interactions, it is argued, may have facilitated the transfer of advanced knowledge from one civilization to another. The Anunnaki, in this context, could be seen as representatives of an ancient, advanced culture whose teachings were absorbed by the Sumerians. Rather than being extraterrestrial beings or divine gods, the Anunnaki in this theory could be understood as members of a more ancient, technologically advanced human society that preceded the Sumerians. One possibility is that the Sumerians inherited their advanced knowledge from civilizations that existed long before recorded histoy, possibly even from a lost civilization that flourished during the Ice Age or earlier. Archaeological evidence of ancient structures, such as the megalithic ruins of Göbekli Tepe in modern-day Turkey, suggests that human societies were capable of remarkable achievements long before the rise of Sumer. Could these ancient societies, now lost to time, have passed on their knowledge to the Sumerians, who then adapted and built upon it? This theory of cultural diffusion presents the Anunnaki as part of a larger, interconnected world of ancient cultures, rather than as divine or extraterrestrial figures as with many aspects of ancient history. The question of the Anunnaki's origins does not have a single definitive answer. Some theories suggest that the Anunnaki were not entirely extraterrestrial nor purely divine figures, but a combination of both. They may have been advanced beings, either human or alien, who appeared godlike to the early Sumerians because of their superior technology and knowledge. In this interpretation, the Anunnaki could have been part of an ancient, advanced human civilization, or possibly even extraterrestrial beings who influenced the development of early human cultures. The Sumerians, in their reverence for these beings, would have interpreted their advanced technology and wisdom as divine gifts, blending the line between God and teacher, human and extraterrestrial. This hybrid theory posits that the Anunnaki were likely seen as gods by the Sumerians, but their interactions with humanity may have been rooted in real historical events that were later mythologized and distorted over time. The Sumerians could have been describing not just abstract deities, but powerful figures who played a role in shaping the trajectory of human civilization, whether through direct intervention or the sharing of knowledge from more advanced societies. Question of the Anunnaki's origins is complex and multifaceted, with each theory offering a different perspective on their true nature. From traditional views of the Anunnaki as gods to more speculative ideas of them as extraterrestrial visitors or representatives of a lost civilization, the debate remains unresolved. What is clear, however, is that the Anunnaki, regardless of their true origins, played a profound role in shaping the Sumerian worldview and their understanding of the cosmos. Whether seen as divine, alien, or human, the Anunnaki continue to captivate our imagination and challenge our understanding of ancient history. As new evidence emerges, and as scholars continue to probe the depths of Sumerian mythology, the mystery of the Anunnaki's origins will likely persist, offering new insights into the origins of human knowledge and civilization. That the legacy of the Anunnaki extends far beyond the ancient Sumerians, reverberating through centuries of human history and continuing to captivate the imagination of cultures and individuals around the world. The stories of powerful beings descending from the heavens to guide and shape human civilization are not confined to the Sumerians alone. As we trace the Anunnaki myth through time, we can see how similar tales have appeared in a wide range of ancient cultures, suggesting that the influence of these celestial beings was not limited to one civilization, but may have been a shared archetype. Whether through direct cultural exchanges or through the common human tendency to explain the mysteries of existence with powerful, divine figures, the Anunnaki's impact can be seen in myths, legends, and religions throughout history. The most significant ways the Anunnaki myth has left its mark is in the many stories of gods and divine beings descending from the heavens. These myths are found in nearly every ancient culture, from the Greeks and Romans to the Egyptians, Hindus, and even the Native American tribes. In each of these stories, gods or celestial beings come down to earth to impart knowledge, teach people how to live, and often shape the development of society. The similarities between the Sumerian tales of the Anunnaki and these other myths are striking. In many cases, the gods are not simply ethereal entities residing in a distant spiritual realm, but beings who take on physical form and interact directly with humans. This shared archetype suggests that the Anunnaki myth may not have been unique to the Sumerians, but could have been part of a broader cultural memory that spread across the ancient world. The idea of gods descending from the heavens to offer wisdom or intervention is seen in the Greek myth of Prometheus, who gave fire to humanity, symbolizing knowledge and civilization. In Hinduism, the gods of the Rig Veda are depicted as celestial beings who interact with humanity, guiding them with knowledge and wisdom. Similarly, the biblical account of the Nephilim in the book of Genesis, who are described as the offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of men, echoes the themes found in Sumerian mythology, suggesting a shared cultural memory of beings who came down from the heavens. This convergence of stories across various cultures raises the question of whether these myths were inspired by actual events or simply represent universal themes that emerge across different societies. Another possible explanation for these recurring themes is the concept of cultural diffusion, the idea that advanced knowledge, religious beliefs, and myths were passed down through trade, migration, or conquest. The Sumerians were at the crossroads of many ancient civilizations, and their interactions with neighboring cultures could have facilitated the spread of their myths. As Sumerian ideas and stories traveled across the ancient world, they could have influenced the religious and mythological traditions of other cultures, leading to the widespread appearance of similar divine beings in the heavens. Beyond the ancient world, the Anunnaki myth has continued to captivate modern-day audiences, fueling the imaginations of those who are drawn to the mystery and intrigue surrounding their story. In the 20th century, the work of Zecharia Sitchin and other proponents of the ancient astronaut theory revived interest in the Anunnaki. Sitchin's controversial ideas about the Anunnaki being extraterrestrial visitors from the planet Nibiru sparked a new wave of speculation about their true nature. This theory has gained a significant following among those interested in alternative history and extraterrestrial influence on human civilization. The idea that ancient gods might have been alien visitors, shaping the development of humanity with their advanced technology, has captured the popular imagination and continues to inspire books, documentaries, and even movies. The legacy of the Anunnaki also lives on in the modern search for extraterrestrial life. The idea that ancient humans may have encountered beings from other worlds is a topic that continues to intrigue scientists, researchers, and enthusiasts alike. As humanity looks to the stars, searching for signs of intelligent life, the Anunnaki myth serves as a reminder that our ancestors may have looked to the heavens with similar questions. Could ancient cultures have had contact with beings from another planet, or was their understanding of the heavens purely symbolic? These questions continue to fuel the debate over the Anunnaki's true identity and their place in human history. The Anunnaki's legacy is not limited to mythology or speculative theories. It also holds significant cultural and historical importance. The Sumerian civilization, as one of the first to develop writing, law, and organized agriculture, laid the groundwork for many of the advancements that would shape future civilizations. The Anunnaki, as central figures in Sumerian culture, played a crucial role in the shaping of this early society, and their influence can be seen in the cultural, intellectual, and technological achievements that followed. Whether through the practical knowledge of agriculture and irrigation or the symbolic power of their divine status, the Anunnaki helped to define the Sumerian worldview and provided a foundation for the future development of human civilization. As we reflect on the Anunnaki's legacy, it becomes clear that their impact goes far beyond the confines of Sumerian mythology. Whether they were gods, extraterrestrial beings, or advanced humans, the stories of the Anunnaki have left an indelible mark on human culture, fueling our fascination with the unknown and our quest for answers about our origins. Their influence can be seen in the myths of other cultures, in the enduring popularity of the ancient astronaut theory, and in the ongoing search for extraterrestrial life. The Anunnaki may have been the first to spark our imagination, but their legacy continues to resonate in the mysteries of the past and the possibilities of the future. The mystery of the Anunnaki is far from solved. As we've explored, their story is woven into the very fabric of human history, influencing cultures and religions across the globe. Whether they were gods, alien visitors, or something in between, the Anunnaki have captured our imaginations. For millennia, the ongoing debate surrounding their true identity, rooted in ancient myths, modern speculation, and ongoing archaeological discoveries, reminds us that history is far from a closed book. As we continue to uncover the secrets of the past, could the truth about the Anunnaki still be waiting to be discovered? Perhaps the key to understanding our origins lies not just in ancient texts and artifacts, but in the mysteries that have yet to be unraveled. The legacy of the Anunnaki challenges us to question what we think we know about history, and it encourages us to keep searching for the truth wherever it may lead.